guys warming up from the corner today with the goalpost. I was just kind of curious what the purpose of that drill is.
You talking about kicking towards the goalpost?
Yeah, from the corner.
That's called field goal to accuracy, and we're trying to aim for the upright. It's hard to hit the upright, but if they do, you're doing some good things. But I always try to, we early in camp, we're going to incorporate that. This is what we call, that was a period A we were doing this morning, and myself and the kids, we kind of put together a routine that they're comfortable with. But anytime we kind of take the field goal to accuracy out once we get going in the season, but if we ever have any trouble missing field goals, we'll go back to it. But that's all you're doing, trying to aim for the upright.
And I guess what are kind of the key metrics that you're deciding for between Scott or Blake? I mean, does it come down to just more makes? Is then distance more important? What's sort of the hierarchy of what you're looking at?
At the end of the day, it will come down to makes, but this is really good info for you here. We do a charting session, which, out of 100%, charting is worth about 20% of our grade, but we'll do a lot of those kicks. Then we have live kicks. Our live kicks is about 35% of your grade. And then we do scrimmage. Now, scrimmage, we don't get many opportunities there, right? Maybe 9, but that has a lot of weight. That's about a 45% weight. So anybody can kick, because they're going to be nervous for me a day or two, and then after a while, it's Coach Fountain, right? But in front of Pittman and the team and people rush it, that's always going to bring a different value, and then also in the stadium. So they can be good. I've had many guys really good at charting, and as soon as they get in front of Coach Pittman, they tank it, or they go live at the stadium, they struggle. So that's how we kind of break it down. But it is about the makes at the end of the day.
Imagine you're a big fan of like tight ends, safeties, linebackers, guys that can run and hit. Is there anybody, I guess, that stands out to you that, not a gunner, not a return guy, not a kicker punter, that just can kind of help you on all teams?
Yeah. If you look at the NFL, every tight end and every linebacker, that is the only position that every single guy that want to play on teams at that level. Here, where I'm excited is our tight end room, in my opinion, is so much better than it's ever been. So like Jaden Platt's a guy that's really impressed me, and he's a big guy, but I think he'll be able to help us on teams. Postka, I think he's a guy that will be able to help us on teams. Laster, has already helped us some on teams. If you flip over to the linebacker room, I mean, we've got depth that we just haven't had in the past. So I'm excited about that. Andrew Harris had come in from Central Florida. He played some teams there, but he's done a really good job for us. He plays fast. He's a great tackler. Obviously last year, Bradley Shaw last year had about 244 snaps for us on special teams as a freshman. That's a lot. So I'm hoping some more of these freshman linebackers, Tavian Wallace, will step up for some of the transfers we've had. The Smalls kid that is playing some safety linebacker for us. Whalen is another kid I like on team. So we've got some depth there that I'm really excited about it that we just haven't had in the past,
Obviously, it's Coach Pittman's call, what to do, kick, punt, go for it, all that kind of stuff. But how does your mind start working when the offense crosses 50-yard line and there's so many different possibilities that can come up? Where are you mentally at that point?
Right, so I'm typically yelling field goal / punt team. So I'm trying to get the punt team up, but I know, and I'm yelling punt really. We get inside the 40 or whatever it is our guy can do in the wind that day. Because in pregame, I'm going to go up to the kicker, hey, going north, what do you think? Going south, what do you think? That changes every week according to what the wind is, right? So once we cross the 50, I'm still thinking punt, but once we're kind of getting on the verge there, what is it? Is it a punt? What are we going to do this down? I'll get both units ready. So that's always kind of nerve-wracking there, trying to get 2 units out on the field.
Coach Pittman mentioned, and I've forgotten his name, maybe Zach, one of the long snappers.
Zach Haber.
He put on a partial scholarship.
Yep.
I wonder, is he a guy that you see for the future that could be a starter? Or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think he has a chance. I do. He's a kid that come from my community college at Butler Community College. He played his freshman year at New Mexico for a semester, and then their coach left, so he went to JUCO ball. He's from Durango, Colorado. Really good athlete. He's kind of a carbon copy of Ashton Noe, maybe a shade smaller, but we think he's got a real future ahead of him.
As the coach that's kind of been with Pittman the longest, I'm curious personally, what was it like watching him deal with the hip injury last year? How much better is it to see, the way he's moving around and impactful now?
I think you call him a warrior, really, last year. I mean, It was very painful. I think kind of come on right before the season. He wasn't expecting it, and he dealt with it all year. But probably the most impressive thing for me was after the last game, he goes in, I believe, on that Monday and has surgery, and then he comes into the building the next day, and he's meeting with kids. Because what he likes to do in December, as soon as our last game's over, is meet with all the kids, talk about NIL and all that stuff. And he came in that next day, and he got after it now. And he did it for the next 3 days, that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that was impressive because that's hard to do, sit there and you're dealing with kids and you're dealing with how you may feel about a kid, but also you're dealing with a hip injury. But I think he's doing a lot better, and I think that's I know a lot of coaches that's had hip injuries, and they all have dealt with it differently. And I thought he handled it as well as he could in the situation he was in.
You guys played against Cam last year, and he had a really good season as a returner. How much did that play into when he's in the portal? I like this kid, and what do you like about Cam?
Yeah, so we're always trying to look for good players. Obviously, kicker, punter, long snipers, but most of the time I go to Coach Pitts, hey, can we go get us a punt returner? And the answer is, well, we'll find somebody in who we're recruiting. Last year they go find one. So I started looking in the portal, so who's the best returner out there. And as they get in the portal, you start stacking them in the order there. But if you watch Cam's film last year, he had 3 house calls in one season. One got called back, so it got nulled. But he was impressive there, did some good things. In our game, he had no returns in our game. So that was a good thing. But we were worried about him going into the game, concerned about him. So, but we feel like we've got a guy. And, in our league last year, Texas had gone and gotten a one-year guy. And obviously Cam's a younger kid. And there was one other team in our league that went and got a one-year guy. So we thought, that it might give us a chance to kind of boost us there in that game. And guys, at heart, I love to return punts. I mean, I've had a lot of good punt returns in my career. And I really hope this will be an exciting year for us in that area. That's what I'm hoping for. And they've had some good returners here.
I think he had a pretty good game catching the ball here, if I remember right.
He did. He sure did.
Kickoff. What's going on at the kickoff spot?
In terms of a kickoff guy, as of day 3, I think Blake Ford would sort of be in the lead for us. I mean, today he hit a 4.31, about 7 deep in the end zone. But Blake's a big kid. He's a 225-pound kid that is a field goal kicker as well. But I think his strength has been a kickoff guy.
Obviously, Scott was the number 1, number 2 kicker, depending on which recruiting service you look at. Just when you're recruiting a guy like that, how much do you kind of lean on the success that guys like Cam Little and Jake Bates have had in the NFL?
Yeah, that obviously helps a ton. Anytime you have guys in the NFL and you can point it out, it's a big deal, and I think that had a little bit to do with Scott coming here, obviously, and sometimes those guys, he may be at a camp and Cam might be there doing the NFL camp. Those camps, they kind of stack them, high school, college, NFL guys come in and kind of work together, and I'm sure they had an opportunity to talk at some point, but it certainly helps when you have a specialist at the next level. Coach, appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank y'all very much. Yep.